Hi guys, welcome back to another gaming video. Today we will be continuing the Minecraft build we left in the last video. Oh, and this is part 2 of this, in case it wasn't clear enough by the title and thumbnail. So, if you haven't checked out the part 1 of this, then go watch it. Link is in the description, and after you've done that, come back here and watch the rest of this video. You're still watching this, so now I will assume that you watched the first part. So let's continue right where we left off the last time. GameFruitPulp's second annual spring building competition. The competition will have a twist that will be released midway. A twist that can be strong enough to be able to destroy my build. Obviously scared me. So, let's read the message of the twist itself. The surprise twist for this competition will be fire coral. All three types of fire coral can be utilized. Seriously, that was what I was afraid of. I thought it was going to be like your build should be survival friendly or something. But anyways, now I have nothing to be afraid of. So let's continue our build. Day 13. On day 13, I continued to work on the fourth and the last island. I would later connect this island to the main build with some chains. After finishing off this island, I goofed around for some time before starting to connect this island to the central tower. Right now you can see I'm making a line instead of a chain. That is because I would want to make a line first, then turn that line into a chain as it is much more easier. After connecting the island to the main tower via some chains, I had a brilliant idea of connecting the top of the tower to its bottom via some chains as it looked quite thin and the chain should add the required thickness. Right now, the chain I made to connect the island and the tower looks pretty bad, but I think I'll work on it later. Here is the time lapse of me making the fourth and final chain that connects the top and the bottom part. Also, I am using coal blocks to make these chains as it looks beautiful and coal blocks provided some texture. Day 14. On the 14th day, I logged into the game with no real idea of what to do first, so I was goofing around for a while thinking about what to do until I saw this. Yep, definitely gonna fix you first. So to fix it, I first filled up the chain and put blocks around it to make it look like a plus symbol. Then I would break some blocks in a specific alternating pattern to create a good looking chain design. And would you look at that? It looks absolutely beautiful. I just need to make some final touches to make it look 1,000 times better. Take a look at this beauty. It is much more cleaner, definitely better than the original one. Now let's make the other chains. So I do the same thing here by making the plus shaped line connecting the tower to this island over here. After that, I break blocks in an alternating pattern and do some final touches, and the end product looks absolutely gorgeous. Day 15. On day 15, I decided to again take a break from the project as the amount of work I was getting done in one day was massive. Day 16. Before logging into the world, I had thought about what to do and decided to complete the chains from the main tower to the surrounding floating islands that day. So I began working on these chains for some time.
After that, I thought of making little towers on ground and connecting them to the floating islands via chains to make this island look a bit more supported. So this is the structure that I decided to make. I'll be connecting the top of this tower to the bottom of the islands over there via some chains going through the middle of the sky. And here you see the cleanest chain of the entire build. Like, this is a straight diagonal. How is this even possible? Now, all the floating islands do not have pre-made locations for these towers to stand on. So I sometimes had to make horizontal tower thingy and I connected it to the floating islands via these chains. Now this chain does have a sharp turn here, but other than that it's pretty neat. So after convincing myself that no one would notice that turn there, I moved to building another structure for the chains. And here you see another beautiful chain that becomes less and less beautiful as you go closer to the island. This chain has two major problems, namely problem of having some random blocks here and there which I am fixing as you can see, while the other is such a problem that two of the three chains I built on the outside have it, which is the problem of sharp turns. After fixing the chain as much as I could, I decided to call it a day.
Day 17. I finished off the last outer tower and connected it to the island via some chains. Next up, I decided to make some smaller floating islands in the middle of the larger ones. I've made three of these, and now this part of the tower is a jumbled mess of chains. Still looks beautiful though. And here we see the time lapse of the creation of the fourth and final small island. Dude, this build is going way faster than I expected. I think I will complete it long before the end of this month. But anyways, I continued to build this island for the rest of my day. Day 18. Starting off the day, I logged in where I had left off. I had the idea to continue on this by putting a chain from the top to the middle one, connecting to the two small islands. In case you did not understand what I had said, this is what I meant. So I continued making this on the two sides I had thought of. Well, since the outside is complete, it's time to go inside. Remember this room? Yeah, I saved it for the twist. Since the twist is fire coral, I think I will probably do something with it in this room. So I first created some stairs to go into this room. I will definitely make something like a house in here. And which house is complete without a map of the surroundings? As you can see here, I've started a bit of map here. I would be filling these remaining item frames later on, probably some other day. Over here, you can see that I've made a nice floor with fire corals underwater, which is under red glass. Later on, I think I will be making some fire coral walls around here to add a bit more red to this room. But I think I will continue the next day. Day 19. On day 19, I finished the map of the world and the whole entire room. I decided to use an extremely red palette for this room to give the effect that this room is made out of the huge red crystals outside. I added the usual stuff like chests, beds, furnaces, a miniature farm, and another portal. Also, you can see that I covered the map in plain glass down there, just so no one would fall in it. I now had completed the build, so I started detailing the outer cobble walls with blocks such as gravels, andesite, and dead coral. I also made this nice floor using their respective pressure plates, buttons, and carpets. I continued to detail the build for the rest of the day. For both day 20 and day 21, I decided to take a little break just to figure out how should I detail the floating islands by looking up some reference images and looking how some servers detailed their floating spawn islands to get some ideas for this. Day 22. I decided that I would be detailing the island like this. Before and after. It looks gorgeous. As you can see, I added leaves around it, made some nice paths, and added some grass. I think I would copy this design on all four islands now. But what about these small islands? Well, I've got the whole thing planned ahead of time. But first, I would finish the big ones, and that's exactly what I did for the rest of the day. Day 23. On the 23rd day, I continued detailing of the floating islands. I had also started detailing the smaller islands, and that's all I did before calling it a day. Day 24. On 24th day, basically everything was done. So I made a small leaf path to the build. You can also see a couple signs there. Those signs say build is that way. Made by Flying Prist 06. YouTube is Flying Prist. Build for the second spring building competition. Map created by Jeet Builds. Competition by GameFruitPulp. And lastly, enjoy the build. Oh, and I also made a dramatic 4-minute cinematic. It was my first attempt at a cinematic, so I do believe it will improve in the future. For now, enjoy this cinematic and tell me in the comments if you liked it. Day 27. After a 2-day break, I am finally ready to upload my world file. The link to this world file will be in the description in case you want to download it. After you go to the link, this should show up. After that, you can download the file, unzip it, and enjoy the build. The build is complete and the world file is submitted. At the end of this, I would like to thank GameFruitPulp for making such an awesome competition, and also I support his judgment. After all, this beautiful monstrosity of a build was good enough to get me second place. Wait, second place? What about the video title? Clickbait! Wait, don't click off yet. You see, this was my first ever competition. I also had a disadvantage because I joined 15 days later. Let me repeat that. This was my first time in a building competition with a 15-day disadvantage. A huge one. Even in these conditions, I managed to get second place, which is great if you ask me. What did you say? The competition had only two contestants? But it doesn't mean that I did not learn anything from this. I got the knowledge of time management, situational intelligence, and well, building. Gaining so much knowledge along with the fact that I had a lot of fun, well, that's a victory for me.